Hello everyone, welcome back to another reaction video. Today we'll be looking at a Jumpsuitpablo reaction to Jessie, who is considered to be the main hybristophiliac in Wade Wilson's so-called support group. In August of this year, Wade Wilson was convicted and sentenced to death for the brutal murders of Diane Ruiz and Christine Melton in October of 2019. Let's listen to Jumpsuitpablo give context to this video from Jessie.
How y'all doing? Listen, as you see, this is who we got on the screen. All right, little bit of context here. Right around the Thanksgiving holiday time, I was attempting to get an interview with Jessie, the queen of the Wade wives, the Wade wife of all Wade wives. Now, was I wanting to talk about her favorite color and you know what what her favorite TV show on Netflix is? No. Did I try to play a little nice? Hey, we want to get to know you. What's the real Jessie like? Nothing crazy, nothing, just an easy little casual interview. Yes. Because I mean, how else do you lure someone into a interview when you've spent, the past few months just crapping all over every phone call you heard them have with Wade Wilson?
To be fair, as recently as August of this year, Jessie had not so nice things to say about JSP to Wade Wilson. Here's a clip from the phone calls from Prison Channel, the same channel against which Jessie and Wade would go on to conjointly file a lawsuit for the public sharing of these calls. For its part, the channel has claimed that all calls were obtained under the American Freedom of Information Act.
Who did he do the interview with?
This guy Jumpsuit Pablo, who's been a fucking problem for us. Like, not a problem, but he's just some dude who's just being a fucking asshole about shit. Like, I can't wait until we just prove all these fucking people wrong. I can't wait until we prove all these people wrong.
But I was hoping to ultimately get her into a live interview, non-scripted, play it cool a little bit, and then get into some topics, throw in a couple questions that would ultimately be great for us and be not so great for her, if you know what I mean. I'll leave it there.
Thanks for reaching out. I appreciate you wanting to do this interview. And now that you've provided me the video, I understand a little bit more in depth about what you're looking to cover and how this will go down. I'll be honest that when the girls let me know someone had reached out on social media about you potentially being interested, I was a little bit worried that it was a gotcha moment.
Jessie's body language, facial expressions, the almost over-exaggerated way she is using her cheek muscles. It reminds me of therapy for individuals who have some sort of facial paralysis, where you're teaching them how to pronounce their words again. And one of the techniques is to ask them to make nice, exaggerated movements so that the muscles can sort of relearn what they should be doing. So it seems to be very forced. You have that sort of assistant managerial tone going on. Her eyes are all over the place. It's very interesting. I should also mention that I noticed that she has this grimace that she does, like a kind of like a half smile grimace, where what she's saying is what she actually does not like. And she covers it up with kind of like a very tight smile. And it's very telling that what she's saying at exactly that moment is what is perhaps reprehensible to her, and you have that really, really tight smile on top of it.
And that
no reason to be worried. It definitely wouldn't turn into a gotcha moment. I want to be friends.
It was going to be something that was going to continue to spiral out of control like these last couple of months have.
Jessie is 100% responsible for the fallout happening in her personal, professional, and family life because of her chosen association with Wade Wilson. I have a clip of her talking to him about revealing to their inner circle that they are indeed in a romantic relationship, and that she has power of attorney and financial control that he has given her. And she's telling him excitedly that she finally was able to reveal the real, quote-unquote real, status and history of their relationship and you can tell that Wade is not happy with the disclosure. It would mean a new limitation to potential team substitutes, to potential changing of the guard, let's say changing of the power of attorney even, nor is Wade sharing in her obvious happiness.
So, she said that they wished that we would have disclosed it from the beginning, but I explained why, and the fact that everything else in your life is so out there in public that we wanted something private to us, right? And that we're also trying to protect me and my family on the outside. So there's a lot of factors as to why we didn't tell them, but I also said, it's probably wrong that we didn't initially tell you and disclose that.
Right.
So they're truly here for your well-being. So they're truly here just for you and your well-being and proving your innocence. And I apologize to them that we didn't do this initially from the beginning, but I hope that they understood our why behind it. So it went well. It's just Shannon she's very skeptical to begin with. So she believes in me, but hearing it straight out of your voice to reconfirm this information, because they asked how long we've been dating. I just told them that I had reached out to him on the first day of your trial.
Yeah.
And that
Right,
somehow that you had honestly accepted me, and
Yeah, baby, all right, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, I told him that. I said I was very surprised that he even accepted me, and we just kind of built it from there. I told him that honestly within a week and a half, we had been kind of engaged.
Don't tell him too much.
And
Don't tell him too much.
I'm not, but this is what builds the relationship, okay? They clearly asked me honestly about the messages that had been out and about, and I just let them know that I, try to be understanding and put myself in your shoes. And so, because they were questioning why I would, more or less be okay with those messages. And I told them that I was very honest with you, that I wasn't, but I understood where you're coming from right now. And I'm just trying to be understanding of the whole fact and not be jealous, not be a jealous bitch, because I am very jealous. I told them that I would tell everybody in the world that we were together, but it doesn't.
Writing me all these. I'm so mad. This dude's writing me all these dealers, man. They set me up good, man.
Jesse's language here about reaching out to him and being surprised by his acceptance says a lot. It's the same energy as if she had been accepted into an Ivy League university or made it to the semifinals in a pageant. Although to be fair, she is now in an exclusive, albeit notorious club. Also, engagement after less than 2 weeks of contact over the phone with a stranger on trial for double murder of women is about as red flaggish as you can get. From what I've observed from the phone calls that Jesse and Wade have had together, I would say that Jessie has a very deep need for distinction. She needs to feel that she's in control and that she's different, she's apart, she's special. And so she has that with the group, the inner group, because she is not just another one of the women. She is the one that has the financial control and knows the ins and outs of all that's going on, fooling the other woman, getting the money in. She is the one that knows what's truly going on. She's the one who he truly loves as well. This reminds me of a dynamic from another lifestyle. I'm not saying it's what she's doing. It just reminds me of that power play where in the trade-off between carnal affection and money, the pimp or the manager of the workers would convince or groom one of them into thinking that they are the main one, they're the special one. So even though they might be having relationships with the other women that are similar to theirs, they're really different. I think the term is bottom worker. I can't really say the full phrase, but bottom worker. And so this bottom worker gains a distinction that she cannot get through monogamy. So she gets it through being the one who kind of dominates and controls the other workers on the pimp's behalf. And that makes her feel special, even though really and truly she's just caught up in the same abusive relationship as all the others. By extension, because she has this control, she has this reforming and controlling effect over this bad boy in prison. She's also different from the women that he may have mistreated in the past, because look, she's the one who finally was able to tame the monster. And so whether she is subconsciously perhaps thinking about the women that he's killed or harmed, or the women that have surrounded him in this moment, she is different. She's more than, she is special. And so this has been her choice, perhaps her need psychologically. She has to feed it. But they are still choices. And so when she talks about things spiraling out of control, really and truly, she's talking about her secrets. She's spiraling out of secrets because it's okay for the inner group to know, But then when the wider public knows, there are consequences to that. And so the secrets are spiraling out of control, and so are the consequences. And I also think that Wade is, as everybody knows, Wade is also spiraling beyond the control. I think she has misunderstood him and underestimated the depth of his pathology. And so I think a lot of things are spinning out of control at this time, but it's not choices. She chooses her alliance with Wade Wilson because it feeds her fantasy. She chooses her fantasy over her family.
But again, now that you provided me the video, I understand it a little bit more in depth. And I do think that this is something that could potentially benefit me. I will tell you, and I'll be honest, that I have to weigh out kind of the pros and cons at this point.
If you have to weigh any pros of engaging positively with your critics to repair your poor image, it's a sign that even you know your position or perspective is wrong.
Pros and cons? Pecans?
Just because I have been laying extremely low and I've been trying to kind of keep my nose to the ground and really just focus on fighting everything that I can for Wade behind the scenes because there's a lot going down.
Jesse uses a lot of trauma and military language. You see a lot of the mixture in this video where she has to help her family, get them out of the crosshairs. She has to fight for Wade. She doesn't want him to think that she's jumping the ship. So she's kind of like this crusader, but at the same time, she wants you to think that she's a victim. She's being assaulted when she's really the one that's the protagonist. She also uses nationalist terms. She's a patriot. It's her right as an American. All of it is superficially laid over her fantasy of distinction, artificially creating this tension of them against the world, when that's not true. Jessie is safe at home, living a fantasy in which she's in control of a unique love. Wade will live and die in a prison, and he sees and treats Jessie no differently than any of the other people he has used and replaced.
You know, as an American, I just want to be able to have my opinion supported and not belittled. I don't think it would be best for us to talk really much about Wade, his case, the trial, stuff around that. But
when Jessie closes her eyes like that when she talks, she reminds me of that episode from South Park.
Hey there, Alan, right? Actually, it's Elaine. Right. Would you like red or white wine? Could I just get an empty glass? Oh, sure. Can you believe all these imbeciles in Texas? They just put another prisoner to death.
I mean, all I got to do is point to the several phone calls where he bragged about killing them and then tried to trade information about where the body was buried in exchange for a double cheeseburger.
Believe in what my belief is. I'm also not here to bash anyone if they don't agree with my beliefs, right? Like, we have differing opinions on this, right? I'm not here to judge you based off that. I'm not here to demean you based off that. People are going to believe what they want to believe. So, and I'll be honest, the biggest reason that I would want to move forward with this, Pablo, is because I want to be able to help my family out. There's a lot of things that I did and I said on those calls.
The Tahanicas.
And I'll let you know, first and foremost, I've actually never listened to one of the phone calls that has been published.
Now, shut your lying mouth.
Yes, I agree with JSB that it's very, very unlikely to be true, mainly because of the lawsuit that Wade Wilson and Jessie filed against the channel Phone Calls from Prison. Because of the release of these phone calls, they allege harm to their reputation, bullying, all sorts of unsavory results from the release of these phone calls. So at the very least, this would have been a very reckless use of the time and attention of the justice system if you haven't checked these phone calls yourself to verify the substance of these phone calls and the content of these phone calls. If she has watched them and she's now saying that she hasn't and she's lying, it's a sign that she knows that what happened on these phone calls is something that is will go against her favor, and she's trying to repair her image. At any rate, it is an admission that whatever went on in those phone calls is not right. Additionally, she's talked about her family being in crosshairs and wanting to save them. Wouldn't you want to refute misconceptions that people may have of the phone calls by listening to them? because you have this urgent mission to save your family, these people that have nothing to do with the issue and are being hurt. One would think she would do anything that she could to help them by listening to these calls and possibly refuting things that she may think or may say it would be false or it's not true, or later on, as she will say, it's not who I really am and it's not who they are.
Oh, but you've never listened to any of these phone calls. Okay. Sure.
Now, of course, I have people who come back and they let me know what's on those phone calls. But
Oh, okay.
I've actually never listened to those phone calls personally. I have no interest in doing it.
Oh,
I already
really?
know what's been said on them, and I can't necessarily say I'm proud of the person that I've been.
You're not proud of the person you've been, but you hadn't heard the person you've been over the years on those calls. So if you hadn't heard those calls and had a come to Jesus moment, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that. So you never heard those calls, but and so it would have to be sitting with you in the pit of your large, voluptuous. You always knew that what you were saying and doing is shameful and wrong. So either way, lose-lose.
Depicted as. But again, I also understand my fault in this. But I also want people to understand that there's another side of things, and it's not who I am as an individual.
Jessie is working really hard. She's using all of the assistant managerial Zoom onboarding energy that she has to make this sort of preemptive defense. And she will go on to say that she's not going to jump ship on Wade, but linguistically, throughout this whole video, she has been jumping the ship. Because if she's saying that this is not who she is as an individual, then essentially what she's saying is that without Wade, I am better than what I was, or I am better than who I was on these calls. Therefore, she's better than Wade. Therefore, Wade is quote unquote the bad factor. So if you are in a relationship, and this is not just restricted to romantic relationships, if you are in any relationship and you have come to the point where you realize, or you say out loud, which is perhaps worse, that the way you behave with that person is not the way that you behave when you are on your own, and that the way you behave with that other person is worse than how you behave on your own, then that in itself is an indicator that the relationship is not good. It's not recommended. It's not doing you any favors. And, you know, with Jessie, probably in her fantasy, she has this maybe Romeo and Juliet way she's painting this. It's her protecting Wade against the world. But really and truly, Wade is someone with a significant criminal history. Besides the conviction for murder, for double murder in August of this year, in 2023, while incarcerated, he survived a drug overdose. Also, there are pending charges for conspiracy to traffic drugs, again, while incarcerated, and there are phone calls also that show that he is negotiating trafficking drugs while he is incarcerated. Days after he was convicted in August for the double homicide, he also received a 12-year sentence, again, for attempting to traffic drugs. Jessie initiated a relationship via request. In June of this year, she said that she reached out to him on the first day of his trial, which, if I'm not mistaken, was on June 10th. And so by August of this year, he was attempting or conspiring with her to mule money for some sort of probably illegal flipping scheme involving illegal product, to take money that had been donated for other purposes to give to the girlfriend of an incarcerated friend, and then that money would come back a few days later in a greater amount. And so she knows Wade's background. Wade is not from Wall Street. He has a significant criminal history, and he's asking her to misuse or misappropriate funds. So she's being a mule, essentially, within 2 months of being in a relationship with him, roughly. So it's not that she can defend it by saying this is past behavior. She's involved in present criminal behavior. And this kind of goes against her fantasy, which is why eventually she has that irritated reaction when she tells him to shut up.
I don't have fucking time for this. I'm not trying to give you attitude. I understand what you're trying to do. I don't have fucking time to do this shit going forward. I really don't. And I don't have enough fucking time today. God. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to yell at you. I'm just fucking stressed. babe. You have to understand.
Yeah. So, right. I might need
When I
a
go
couple
to
more.
Tennessee, I'll go to my fucking Hank in Virginia when I go to Tennessee.
Dude, that's not gonna work. If I tell these people, nah, man, don't worry about it, babe. Can't do it today. No good today or yet.
I'm waiting on my bank to call me back, and then it'll be transferred to them. But my bank has to call me back and do a two-step verification. And I don't know. I asked them when they were going to call. They said within 15 minutes. So it'll be fine.
Okay, baby, it's fine.
It'll be fine. I just have to wait for a second.
Relax. That's fine. It's not a problem. Thank you very much. You're okay. I will. It's okay. Relax. Okay. Okay. Relax, baby. I need some more.
No, I'm trying not to. I'm not trying to disappoint you. I'm just my bank.
You're talking way too fast. How about you just listen? Why don't you just be quiet and listen, please? So then you don't have to like stress yourself out also, because the more you talk, the more you get stressed out right now. So just listen.
Give me a second.
Did you fucking tell?
Don't shut up. Shut the fuck up, please. Will you shut the fuck up for a second?
Because that is pressing against her fantasy that she is reforming this bad boy. She's resurrecting him morally within this relationship. It goes against the grain of that fantasy, which is why she has that irritated reaction to it. At any rate, this is not a relationship where people are coming against her for something that Wade cannot change. For example, with Romeo and Juliet, they were born into the families that they were born in. It wasn't their fault. Race, gender, religion, these are not factors that come into play when people observe and critique the relationship between her and Wade and the things that she's been involved with over the phone and in real life with Wade. It's because he has gone against the conventions of society, the conventions of the legal system. He has taken lives. He is morally bankrupt. And she herself, within 2 months of being in a relationship with him, long distance, has also been participating in morally bankrupt actions and also potentially criminally offensive actions as well. And even if she and Wade think that they have things under control because he told her to not ask any questions, ignorance is not an excuse before the law, I think, in most countries. And so they do not have that leg to stand on if she were to be held responsible.
So doing this really would be a lot to help my family out and to hopefully get them out of the crosshairs, because I don't think people understand how much it's not only affected my life, but how much it's affected my family, and it's from a lot of hatred.
Jesse's obviously using the shield of, look, it's not me, it's not about me and my actions, which have been bad, but I don't want to go into the bad actions that I maybe have done, but I haven't really thought about or watched or listened to. But my innocent family, look, Jesse's family also participated partly in her actions with Wade, at least her sister.
Hi, baby.
Hey, oh my God, I forgot to tell you something too.
What's up, baby?
Jeanette texted me. You want to know what she said?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, you got to help me respond to this. We have to do that right now, dude, with Jeanette. Listen, no, real shit, for real. Listen, baby, listen to this. It would truly make me happy seeing you every day, holding each other while we lay down and or just together, talking, laughing, enjoying each other. She said, how would it make you feel? ? Then she said, and you tell me, she said, and you tell how I can get you out, please. I got her, like, there. I got her there, dude. Like, she's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, she's there. Like, yo, hey, I don't know how, but have you looked her up? Like, how much money are we talking this girl has? Like, I don't want to be like,
she just donated $21,000 like it was nothing, so I'm sure she's got some money, and she's in love with you, so.
It's so weird. Is she just that fucking ugly? Why is she so fucking ugly?
Is she really that ugly? Like? I can't get over you're killing me right now.
Did you see what she looks like? Like, what does she do for money, though? Like, she's so goddamn ugly. Hey, you want to know what?
You got a crab rangoon? What?
Yeah. Nah, I wrote her. I wrote her a message.
Is she gonna donate more money?
Dude, listen. Oh my God, you're so money hungry. No, I'm just kidding.
I am money hungry.
No.
I am.
No. Hey, listen to this. You ready? I'm about to tell you. You're gonna love it. So I wrote her like some sweet message.
My sister just goes, give me the money. Give me the money. Give me the money. I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Give me that money.
She's talking about that. Yeah, money. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, baby.
Oh, so she, I wrote Jeanette like a sweet message about her picture. Totally lied, telling her how great she looks. And
Oh, Marilyn Manson.
she
He does
responded.
like Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, she does.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, she does. She fucking does. Hey, she said, yeah, I wasn't sure if it would be okay. And then she said, hey, you hear me, baby? Because yesterday on the phone, she said she wanted, somehow the conversation, she was like talking about, she had a pool at her house and stuff. And then she was like, she wanted me to swim in, or something like that in her pool.
Yes, I remember you saying that.
She wants you to come to Texas. She said she wanted my big fish. She said she wanted my big fish. No, she didn't say that. She was like, hey, look at what she said right here. Hey, look at this. Look at this. So I complimented her. Dude, listen. I complimented her. Yeah, go ahead.
She said you should really hear some of the messages people sent him. She said she wants his big fish.
So we have this cluster of conversations between Wade and Jesse, in which she acknowledges that he is actively trying to engage this woman, feeding her emotionally, and she's responding to this emotional stimulation. She gives a sizable donation, which she quantifies as approximately $21,000. He says to her, sorry, I got her there, she's there. So there is this acknowledgement that they're sort of like fishing, they're hooking her. It's not a genuine interaction. And in the second conversation, her sister is physically present, listening to Jesse talking to Wade about this particular woman, Jeanette, and referring to her as Marilyn Manson, making fun of characteristics that she cannot change. She's not in control of, unless, of course, you're talking about very invasive intervention like surgery. And so this, by definition, would come much closer to bullying than the bullying that Jesse has alleged that she and her family are suffering. Really and truly, what they're suffering are consequences and feedback regarding Jesse's behavior in a very equal give and take of me acting in the world and the people around me in society responding to that. That is an equal give and take. Even though it may be unpleasant for her, it's not necessarily a power play where she's being a victim. This woman is being disparaged for things that she cannot control, which are her physical characteristics. And so we have Jesse referring to Wade as babe in this conversation in the presence of her sister. So her sister must know that there's this fishing going on, there's this money grab going on, they're making fun of this woman because of her looks. And also she's aware that Jesse has a romantic relationship with Wade because of this babe terminology that she uses. And so at some level, her sister is aware of what's going on. And so people, when they see this and they hear this, they naturally think, who else in the family knows? How much do they know? And how much do they really approve of this morally bankrupt behavior?
It's not fun when people bring outside family members into a situation. Have voluntarily raised your hand and gotten yourself into, is it? It's not very fun. Oh no, it's not very fun. And it's not just me or her. It's all the others you tried to harass and intimidate legally. It's not very fun, is it?
So I really would be doing this more than anything to try to help people understand what they've done to my family through all of this. It's okay for them to hate on me. I probably do deserve a good amount of
You
it.
do.
And I feel that very deeply now. But it's not okay for them to bring, people who had nothing to do with this
Oh
into the
man.
situation.
Oh wow.
So
it's not okay.
Like I
is
said,
it?
there's a couple people that I do need to speak with. First person that I need to speak with is going to be my lawyer, as I mentioned. I got to make sure this is going to be in my best interest. And
I got to make sure that he's ready to take another $10,000 from me and then not do anything for me.
Other person I just want to make sure is at least aware, and it's not that I need his permission.
Tell your lawyer that I'll pay him more than you're paying him to turn against you.
by any means, I can promise that, is Wade, because he's going to have people messaging him and telling him that I did an interview with you, and I want him to at least hear from me the why and why we would be doing this if we do move forward. I wouldn't want him to hear from somebody else and think that I've jumped ship, because that's
Oh, no, of
not going
course.
to happen, and he knows it won't ever
Yeah, Bonnie might spill the beans.
happen. So again, I just need to speak with them, but I would be potentially open to speaking a little bit more about myself, how this has affected my
Yeah,
life.
we want to hear about you. Do you like long walks on the beach? You know, slow walks to the execution chamber to see Wade Wilson? Or what do you like?
What the last 5 to 6 months have looked like, and like I said, do this hopefully to clear some things up for my family so they start receiving a little less hatred on a daily basis.
Right. Right.
So here we come to really the last interesting part of GSP's reaction to Jesse's video. I will include the reference to the entire video in my description box or in the comments, so you can go take a look over on his channel. It's very funny and very amusing. I couldn't use all of the material, but I do think it is worth the watch, definitely. I will also be linking the information to Phone Call from Prison's channel as well as any other materials that I've used that I think would be interesting to check. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this reaction, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. And I look forward to analyzing something else on the internet for you again sometime very soon. Happy holidays to everyone, regardless of how or what you celebrate. I hope you have a very peaceful and safe season. Take care.